This meeting is being recorded.
Yeah.
Oh. You gotta talk to my agent about recording.
Hi, Alan. Good to see you.
Okay. Can you all hear me?
Yes, Bishop-elect McCune.
Hi, everybody. Good to see your faces.
Where is my damn thing at?
Hey, Lynn, your volume's on.
There's my
We
buddy.
don't know where your damn thing is. We can't see it either.
Oh, well, can't do it.
Sounds good.
Too bad.
Is Kelly on? Kelly, are you here? Okay, not yet. All right. I am gonna, let's see, there we go.
A bunch of guys, Kristen.
Hi, Dale.
There you go. Hi, Kristen.
Okay. All right. Well, we are going to hope that Kelly makes it on because she's going to do screen sharing. So let me just take a quick minute and pull things up.
Hey, whoever's got the TV on in the background, can you turn it off or mute yourself?
Thank you.
I think that might be Lynn.
Dale got up.
Okay.
Bless your
Okay.
heart.
Thank you. All right. Sorry, everybody. It's been a little bit of I'm not quite feeling as organized as I normally try to be right now. So give me just a second and I'm
Why?
going to.
Have you been busy? What have you been up to?
You know, there's been a couple things. There's been a couple things in recent days.
Oh, what? I didn't hear.
No.
You're living on a remote
Hanging
planet.
out. It's a whole new thing.
She's got COVID brain.
Well, there's that too. So here we go. Okay, I've got an agenda. I'm still hearing somebody's TV. If you have a TV on, can you please
Just
either turn it off or mute yourself? And Kelly is the one with the superpowers. Thank you. Kelly is the one with the superpowers for this. Let's see if I have. Oh,
Hey, Lynn, could you angle your screen a little? Oh, there you go. Thank you.
okay. I do have superpowers. Okay.
Oh,
So I can mute people as needed. I've got the agenda and the last piece.
Lynn,
Oh,
could you
Kelly-
angle your camera down a little bit? I can only see the top. We can only see the top of your face.
Kelly is logging in. That's good news. All right. So in a perfect world, Kelly's going to be able to do the screen sharing when we'll get to that point of the teaching piece. All right. Hey, Carla.
Hello.
All right. Oh, good to see you, Connie. Hi. All right. Well, here we are. Kelly's going to join us in just a minute. We are 2 minutes into the hour, so let's begin by praying. The Lord be with you.
And also with
Also with
you.
Let us pray. Thank you, God, for everyone who is here present today. Thank you for the churches that you call us to love and to lead. Thank you for helping us recognize you all over the place, wherever we are, and to learn again and again to trust that what we need is here, what we need is right here, what we need is you, and you are present here with us. Thank you for this time together. Thanks for the generosity of everyone's time and spirit by coming together to learn and to share and to ask questions. Thank you for giving us the gift of your Son, Jesus Christ. And help us to cherish the church that you have given into our stewardship, trusting that you're right here. In Jesus' name, amen. Well, hey, everybody. How you doing?
Good.
Are you good? All right. It's good to see you all. I would like to just on a personal note, thank you for your prayers and encouragement through these last days. I'm guessing probably everybody on this call is aware, but in the event that you are not, I was elected Bishop of Southern Ohio this past Saturday. And I know, what are you gonna do? I'm seeing that Bradley face. Oh, whatever. So what that means kind of in practical terms is that my things look different now. Things look different. And what I'm working on is, thanks, Bradley. What I'm working on now is making sure that I leave well, and that the essential pieces of my role are that I'm handing those off so that stuff doesn't get lost. This gathering today, right now, is among one of the really important pieces of
Well, you'll have to
that.
go out and listen.
And that is helping us be a community of practice, and the chance to come together and ask questions and share about what you're working on, I think, is a key piece. The learning is pretty powerful when we come together for CCD, but then the next most important thing is how we're all putting it into action at home. And I'm going to pause there for a second. Can you all hear me okay? Is my sound all right?
There's no
Your
sound.
sound's okay, but
You
Lynn
don't have
keeps
sound?
popping in and out.
So Lynn and Dawn, can you guys hear me okay? Dawn, can you hear me? It sounds like maybe not. That doesn't seem like what we're looking for. Okay. Kelly, can you reach out separately to Dawn and Lynn and see if you can help them with their sound situation? Thanks. All right, super. Okay. So what I'd love to do for introduction, so this is the first, I'll talk a little bit more about the planning for going forward. I think it's a really key thing as you all move forward with CCD to ensure that you are practitioners. And a good way of continuing in practice is having the chance to check in with each other, share ideas, share frustrations, whatever. In the time in between your continuing learning, and then once you've graduated from the college too. So we have folks here who are still in process. We have folks who have graduated from the college. I'm looking at you, Connie. I'm looking at you, Alan. I'm looking at you, Kelly. Kelly's going to continue to be shepherding this group, and you all will have the opportunity also to be helping to teach as well. So we'll talk more about that later. But for now, what I would like you to do is I would like to invite you to, one by one, and I'll call out your name. In 30 seconds, here's what I want you to do. I want you to say your name. I want you to say your church. And I want you to say your favorite model from the College for Congregational Development. This can be one of the core models, or if you are a big fan of change process instead, and that's what you want to talk about, you can do that too. But it's going to be 30 seconds. Okay. So it will have to be concise. And if you can't think of a model, it's okay if multiple people say the same model. It's all right. It's okay. And that's it. And humor me for a moment, because I have a visual aid to go with mine. So 1 second, I'm going to grab it. Okay. So my name is Kristen White. I serve on Bishop Jennifer's staff, and my favorite model is actually the change process that you see on my coffee mug, which is called the Gleicher-Dana Miller change process. We're going to talk more about it later, but you'll see C equals D times V times F, which has to be greater than R. If this is new to you, that's okay, because you're going to learn about it. This was the thing that I was going to teach at the Sunset Seminar, and then we were all exhausted, and so we didn't do it. So I'm going to be talking about this in a little while later in our time together. So that's mine, and I'm going to go to Jim Said, because you're next on my screen. So can you unmute yourself, please, and introduce?
Sure. My name is Jim Said, and I serve at Good Samaritan Church. And my favorite model, oh wait, this is the wrong thing. Sorry about that. My favorite model is the life cycle model, the life of an organization.
Fantastic. Thank you. Dale Drake, can you go next, please?
Sure. I'm Dale Drake. I'm from St. Mary's in Martinsville. And I would say sources of transformation, that nice little round thing, because we actually used it when we did our intervention. And,
Fantastic. Look forward to
worked
hearing more
fine.
about that. I'm
Yep.
so delighted. Thanks,
Yep.
Dale. Jason Fortner, you're up next.
I'm Jason Fortner. I serve as the curate at St. John's in Lafayette. My favorite model is Naomi Campbell. Oh, wait, sorry.
Ah,
meant-
ha, ha, ha.
Sorry.
Model
Dale's-
from the college, Jason.
Sorry. Dale totally stole mine. I'm a big fan of the sources of transformation because I'm enamored of the way all of those things interact, and I love all of those parts.
Awesome. Thank you. Lynn, are you able to unmute and speak, or do you want to pass at this point? Oh, there you go. Lynn, are you able to get in, Lynn?
Should
Okay,
be, might
well-
be having some technical difficulty.
Okay, we'll come
The
back
audio
to you.
might-
We'll come back to you, Lynn. One sec. Ed, you're next up.
Hi, I'm Ed. I'm from Canterbury House at IU, and my favorite model is Gather, Transform, Send.
Thank
And I
you
don't have
very
a picture.
much. Thanks. Bradley Pace, coming to you.
Hi, I'm Bradley Pace, St. John's Lafayette. At the moment, I am digging the Benedictine life cycle.
Lovely. Thank you. Connie Betts, how about you?
I would agree. The Benedictine life, that model has spoken to me for a very long time.
Wonderful. And what's your church?
Oh, I'm sorry, Trinity Lawrenceburg.
Super
Thanks.
good. Thank you. Don Apgar, how about you?
How about me? I'm Don Apgar. I worship at St. Christopher's in Carmel, and a fan of the listen, action, reflection, data gathering model.
Fantastic. Thank you. Christopher, how about you?
Hi, Christopher Beasley. I'm director at St. Peter's in Lebanon, and my favorite model is like Bishop-elect Kristen, the Gleichert Miller change process, because it's a math equation.
Fantastic. Thank you. Kelly Nixon, can you introduce yourself and tell us?
Hi, I'm Kelly Nixon. I am on the bishop staff as the assistant for congregational development, but I'm also a member at St. Timothy's Episcopal Church on the South Side. So when I attended CCD, it was with a team from the church and not in my role as bishop staff. And my favorite model is the go-to basic one, gather, transform, send. It's a great one for a lot of things.
Super. Thank you. Carla, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, Carla Bowerman from St. John's in Lafayette. And mine also is the Gather, Transform, Send for my favorite model.
Super. Thanks. Alan, I
Thank
think I saw your visual aid just a minute ago. Go for
Yeah,
it.
St. John's, and so this is what I use all the time.
Yeah. Awesome. Oh, love that. Thank you. Yes. More to come on that model today. Thank you. Becky Douglas, how about you?
Hi, I am Becky Douglas from St. John's and Speedway, a senior warden there. And I like the life cycle one. But also the Gather, Transform, Send, I think, is also a favorite of mine. So
Awesome.
those two.
Awesome. Thank you. Sam Vaught, last but not least.
Hi, I'm Sam Vaught. I'm with Grace Unlimited Campus Ministry at Butler University in Indianapolis. And I'm a big fan of the Benedictine model of obedience, conversion, and stability.
Fantastic. Thank you. Lynn, are you able were you able to get sound? Can you introduce yourself? Oh, there you are. Yeah, we can hear you. So Lynn, could you share your name, your church, and your favorite CCD model, please? that working? Oh,
Yeah,
I think we
she's
lost
having
one.
trouble with the
Okay.
audio.
Okay.
So,
Okay. No worries. Are you guys in the same place, Dawn?
Well, we are. We're
Okay. Well,
we're
if
in
you want
different
to be on
rooms.
the same screen together, that's fine. Whatever works. We're glad to
Yeah.
have you here. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
Thanks, everybody. I wanted to talk a little bit about the purpose of this group. One of the changes that happened with the College for Congregational Development is we have always, when we always leave the college, especially in the first year, with the intent of doing a project. And so with the revision that we had to the curriculum this past year, some of the feedback that we've gotten is that it hasn't been consistent for colleges to do the kind of check-in that we have had. So over the course of the last 2 years, after we finished with the college, I was pretty engaged with participants about how you are going to implement whatever it is that you learned back at your home church. That didn't happen as consistently across all of the colleges, and it happened more for me with the first project than it did with the second. And so given that feedback, we wanted to improve the communication that we had and encourage people to have resources in one another and to learn together over the course of the year, that it's not just about learning at the college and then see you next year or not. And so they asked us to have these gatherings, and I think we had several that were scheduled. And when I started thinking about what I thought would be most helpful, and this is where I would appreciate some data from you all, is to have this not just be about this year's participants, but a practitioner group for everybody who has been part of the college at any point, whether you're 1 year in or 2 years in and graduated, or you did the college 3 years ago and you want to have this opportunity to talk with folks about your experience and about what you're working on. What I'm hoping is that we're building a vocabulary for leadership and congregational development across the diocese. And this can be a place for you all to be connected with one another, to share ideas, to maybe collaborate together on projects or ideas that you have, and to check in with one another. So that's what I'm thinking we can have for this time. And we've got the initial check-ins on the calendar. It would be my hope that these will be that conversations that lead to further conversations that are benefiting you all as leaders and your churches. So that's my hope. How does that seem to you all? There are 13 of you who have shown up to this call. Does that sound useful to you? Or is there something else when you think about why you'd give up an hour to go be on Zoom and talk about this stuff? Does that resonate for you? Well, just unmute yourself and share what you think. We don't have to be super scripted about this. What do you think? What do you need?
Well, I won't be shy.
Okay, thanks.
I think it's a wonderful idea because, we were given so much data and so much information over the course of that week that I think it'd be a benefit to learn from the second year folks and folks that have graduated and learn about what worked, what didn't work, maybe in their context, why it didn't work. Or I think the collaborativeness is what I'm excited about.
Great. What I'm thinking is a pattern that might be helpful. When I thought back to being a participant myself, would have been helpful to me would be to have the chance to connect, to ask them questions, to hear about people's projects, and then to have some teaching time. So that's the plan for today, and not a heavy teaching, but teaching a model that I've used and talking a little bit about how I specifically used it and what some of the hangups might have been, or things that helped it go well. So that's what I'm thinking. And then a little time at the end for some question and answer, and then that's it. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I've also asked Kelly to reach out to folks about a contact list. I know that that we shared that at the end of last year's college. Wait, this year's college, 2023. I'm losing track of years. But I'm also thinking, wouldn't it be great for all of the CCD alumni and participants to have a way of being in touch with one another? There may be people who participated 2 years ago and you're a first year participant, but you might both have ideas about how to use Gibbs model for trust development that might be worth, you might find out, my hope is if this is all working well, you find out about that on a call, and then maybe you can connect with that person outside of the call to figure out what they're doing or what you're thinking about and talk that through. Does that seem useful? Okay. Other thoughts about the use of this time, what you all need? I'm hearing some feedback. Are you guys hearing that? Okay. Connie, you're the only person I'm seeing unmuted. Okay, thanks. Oh, yep. It seems like that went away now. Okay. All right.
So,
yeah, go ahead.
The thought that I have is just that we have busy lives and we move on.
Right.
St. Mary's has done its little project and we're moving on and doing other things, and life happens. And so just actually hearing somebody say, "Well, I like the Benedictine model," makes me go, "Wait, yeah, I think I remember what that is."
Yeah.
So it's kind of good just from a refresher point of view.
Great. That's exactly what I hope. And it is. I mean, when you're learning from a fire hose, and the best way for this material, the thing that is most beneficial about the college, it's a great experience to come and learn together and to worship together. And those days are days that I cherish. And the most useful thing is how you come back to your church and implement the things that you've learned. And so this is really with a bias toward helping be really practical and helping folks try stuff out. Not everything's going to work. Some things are going to work really well in one context and not well in another. And that's okay. And this is with a clear bias toward helping us be practical people at building up our churches. Okay. Any other thoughts or questions about the use of this time? All right. Yes, Ed Bird.
I just want to say, so I did my first year, 2021. It feels like such a lifetime ago. Did a project, and I'm hopefully I think I've enrolled for this coming year, but I haven't been able to get back until now. And I'm like, our ministry here has really kind of hit a spurt. And I'm like, okay, what do we do now?
Yeah.
So, it's very much in so many ways a different context from where it was when I came 2 years ago. I'm like, okay. And so it would help me to be part of a group that says, what should I be thinking about doing? Because I can't think what's new because everything's new. We've got all these new students, and I'm ready to do what's step 2.
Right. Well, that's amazing. And ministry is filled with good problems like that. You might have learned something in 2021 when you had many fewer students, and now what Gather, Transform, Send looks like for you versus what it looked like for you 2 years ago or 3 years ago is going to be really different. Like, what does incorporation look like when you've got 20 students versus 3? And that's fantastic. And thinking about it and shifting the way you might have done it previously is that's exactly what this group is here and why we have the college in the first place. Okay. So I would love to hear about projects. The next thing on our agenda is participant project updates and questions. And I want to thank Dale Drake for being willing. I understand Kelly reached out to you yesterday, and Dale is the first person to send in her project this year from St. Mary's. I think you guys did it like 2 weeks after we were done with the college last year. And I'd love to hear about, Dale, if you could take a couple minutes and share what the project was, what you did, and how it went. That would be fantastic. Go ahead.
Okay. Kelly, can you share my screen? I have a Word document with pictures in it. with just a couple of pictures, and I could actually show them if you could share me and share my screen.
I will try to see what I can do.
Okay, and if not, I'll just talk because I can talk. I can always talk.
Capability, and then she can share her own screen. Kelly,
Okay.
you won't be able to share her screen.
I think I just gave you co-host privileges, so see if it works this time.
Okay. So I can share a screen.
Okay.
Look at that.
Okay. Okay.
There it
Did it
is.
work? Did it work?
Great. Yes, we
Yes.
can see
Okay,
it.
great.
Fantastic.
All right. Okay. So basically, excuse me, I got to get rid of a thing. There we go. Yeah, basically, okay, St. Mary's is very small. This is our group. And I had told the group before we went that we were going to talk about what we did after we came back. So I said, please hold August 6th. And as Jim said, pointed out, that was the Feast of the Transfiguration. So it was like, oh, you can transfigure. So that was very good. Yeah, so they had the date. They knew that it was going to happen. We did have like 12 of us, if you count little bitty Hadley there. Normally we have 15 to 18 for a service, so that's not bad turnout. What Josh and I realized when we went was that St. Mary's was in a trough of despair, of negativity, and because of funding and funding cuts, and that was just getting in the way of everything else. And so our idea was, let's get everybody together and we are going to talk about all the negativity. Everybody share negativity, do it just a very simple brainstorming. And this picture is us doing brainstorming of negativity. What's bothering you? And we got all kinds of pandemic problems and funding problems and everything all came out. It was really great. Our group never has problems talking. So that went really good. What was cool, and I'm hoping if I can find my cursor.
It's over on the right. Yep, there you go.
Yeah, scroll on down here. Okay. So then here's our on the far left is all of our negative things that we wrote down. I did it in black, nice, no color, just black. And then I took that piece of paper off and I tore it in half. Okay, people expected me to post it on the wall. That's what they figured, because that's what people do with flip charts, right? You do something, then you stick it on the wall and it hangs there for a while. But no, I tore it in half and I passed each half down each side of the table and said, please tear it all up. So everybody was at first shocked and then excited about actually tearing up things and crumpling it up. There was a basket at the other end of the table. And the picture in the middle is Denson, one of our youngest, tearing up angst, which I just, that was not staged.
Maybe so.
That was not staged, but I love it, yeah, because we had post-pandemic angst on there, and Denson is tearing that up. And so then, so they're very excited. And so then we went outside and we went to the middle of our labyrinth, which is the picture on the right. And we burned it in a little hibachi. We burned all the paper, and everybody got very excited about burning the paper. Kids were excited, everybody's excited. It was great. Everybody loved it. It was a very moving thing for us. And then we went back inside because I didn't want, we didn't want to just focus on negativity.
Mm-hmm.
We went back inside. I mean, this took like 20 minutes. We went back inside and we did look, what we need is here. And I actually found that song on YouTube, a really beautiful version. And so I had one of our really, really good singers lead us in singing that along with the YouTube version. So that was very cool. We all came in and we sang that. And then I had the sources of transfiguration model, and I gave them Post-it notes. I gave them yellow Post-it notes I gave them purple Post-it notes for things that are working now. And then we would stick them on the different areas. You know, what's happening at St. Mary's now that's good. And then after that, we did yellow ones for what do we want to see.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the reception like? Thank you so much, Dale. How did people respond? Both at the thing and since then?
People responded really well. They really liked it. I've left up the what we need is here sheet, along with the Post-it notes in case people wanted to add to it. And it's been interesting because, you know, a couple times in our bishops committee meeting, somebody will say something negative, like we used to, and everybody will say, no. We
really? So,
you know, yeah.
People are checking themselves, huh?
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. So
that is really wonderful.
Yeah. So it didn't take long, but there's St. Mary's. This was St. Mary's.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being willing to share that. Anybody have any questions for Dale?
I'm going to stop that.
Okay. Questions? Thank you so much for both. I remember you sharing as we were getting ready to leave from the college and having the date. And I heard from somebody else in the congregation before I saw your report. But other folks from St. Mary's have been talking about people who weren't participants in CCD, but who took part in your project, have talked about the effect on the congregation. So just makes me very, very, my heart is very full. So thank you. Yeah. Well, I want to open it up to anybody who'd like to ask questions about if you're currently working on a project. Does anybody want to ask questions about your project or share ideas? Or are there any kind of sticking points for any of you on your own projects that you're working on? Jim, are you looking to say something? You looked like you were.
Well, I was thinking, that was my thinking phase.
Okay.
So we're in the process of, in October and the first month of November, we have 6 cottage conversations scheduled where people are invited to sign up, kind of small group thing, where we're going to talk a little bit about like where we are with our planned village hub, which is our building. And we're also it's collecting data. We're collecting data from people and trying to get ideas and to give information and to collect information at the same time. But in a real sense, I guess I'm hearing from the bishops committee that they've kind of already got the direction that they want to go.
Okay.
With building on the 56th Street property. I mean, that's kind of what everybody has been talking about for a very long time. And that
so you've got the data from that group. Have you had data gathering from the wider congregation? Have you checked that data against? Yeah,
that's what the next piece. Okay, that's what the cottage conversations are for.
Okay, great.
To collect data from them and then to give them data.
Great.
That's kind of
feed it back. Yeah. Good, wonderful. Do you feel like you have what you need in terms of tools for doing that?
Yeah, I think we do. I do.
Okay, great.
And we've got leaders for each one of those that know already what their role is for each one, and then it's a listening session. And a part of it also is to make sure that I've connected with everybody in the congregation, which I think I have. But it's a time for them to ask me questions too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I will say, as you all are thinking about those of you who will be doing projects, and hopefully we're all doing projects in ministry for the rest of our lives in church leadership, whether you're an ordained person or a lay person. This is a posture to be in, and we have sort of a a formal expectation after in your first year of participating, but I will say I am most effective in ministry when I'm thinking about the work that I do in the frame of project, and then also reflecting on it once it's done. So I encourage you, I bid you, Melissa Skelton, the creator of the college, had a t-shirt at one point that said life ministry is just one damn project after another. So just so you know, that's her expectation. So one thing that I would encourage you as you're thinking about this in planning your own project is don't make it too big. Basically 87%, and that's a number I've just made up. But most people come up with like a super big grand project. And I know because the first year that I was a participant, that's exactly what I did. Don't do that, because if you get this big overwhelming project and then it looks beautiful in a binder, and then you take the binder and put it on your shelf and it never gets done, then you're not, then the practitionership is harmed. So if you take a project and break it into specific small. My first project was taking 2 women out to lunch. I thought that I was going to redo our whole Christian Outreach Commission at the last church I served. And my friend Ellen, who's now a director in another diocese, said, "Oh, Kristen, you can't do that. That's too much." But I was working with the Gibbs Trust Development model. And what I realized is we had a key ministry in our congregation with 2 leaders who this was a strong piece of their identity as Christian people, part of the reason they had chosen to be part of that church 30 years ago. And they didn't trust that I was going to let that ministry continue as it had. They were worried that I, as the new rector, was going to change it, and they wouldn't be able to participate in the way that they wanted to. And so my whole first project was taking those 2 women out to lunch. And that led to then the vestry getting involved in the conversation. And then they took on some projects in terms of making it more connected and more transparent so that other people could participate. But if I had done my big grand project all by myself, A, it probably wouldn't have worked. B, I probably wouldn't have gotten it done. And C, it would not have involved the people in the life of the congregation that ultimately got involved. And now I've been gone 6 years. And that ministry is continuing and is healthy. And I read the newsletter, and it's going on. And so just be very, I encourage everybody, please be specific and discreet as you're planning your project so that they're doable. Okay. All right. Any other questions, ideas, thoughts about projects?
We actually wrapped ours up, but I have not had time to write it up and send it in yet. So
It's okay. Can you tell us about it? What model did you work with?
We use several. And I'm embarrassed to say I don't have them at my fingertips.
It's okay.
I can give you a quick recap if we have time.
Yeah, please go for it.
So the problem statement, if you will, was how to make food-based events easier to administer.
Mm-hmm.
And so the short story was we conducted personal interviews with 5 or 6 folks who had run food-based events at the parish. I just realized my camera's off.
Oh, there you
go. So we did personal interviews and gathered a bunch of information about what worked and what didn't work at previous events, large, small. And then we also gathered data from the parish. So we had an easel out in the narthex for 2 Sundays running.
Mm-hmm.
And we had 4 quadrants on the easel to kind of give people a sense of, do you like stuff that is inexpensive but requires more work, like cooking a dinner in the parish kitchen, or inexpensive with less work, like a potluck, or expensive with less work, like having it catered, or expensive with a lot of work. So everybody got little stickers, and we kind of got a data map of where the parish was at in terms of what kind of food-based stuff they were looking for. And we had a couple of hypotheses going into this whole exercise. And what we found out after gathering the data was that there was really a lot of interest in good old-fashioned potluck, which had been dismissed as, nobody does that anymore kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so And what we found out in meeting with what we call the Connections Committee, who kind of plans our parasocial calendar and kind of oversees the timing and the planning of the events, was that some of the hypotheses we had about stuff that wasn't working actually was still working, but it needed to be re-energized. We had it's kind of a back to the basics of, we need to remember to include new parishioners. We need to kind of keep our kitchen processes and inventory fresh, so again, I don't have this right in front of me, but it was really a very worthwhile exercise, and it uncovered that where we were thinking, oh, this is, there's a lot of room for improvement here, and it wasn't really.
That's great.
It was really about using the data that we gathered, both from people who hosted events and the parish at large, to just kind of refocus a little bit.
That's fantastic. I'm thinking, Don, as you're talking about that, I'm thinking about the life cycle model and what you all did. It's not like things were at a crisis. Is everybody familiar with the life cycle model, kind of that frame of the U, upside down U? So it sounds like St. Chris, like things were probably stable and, healthy, not as invigorated. And what you did by gathering this data is come back to those questions of who are we, what are we trying to do in this particular context, and being willing to get different answers there. So you had your hunches. You probably could have gone on for a while still doing what you were doing. Had you done that without gathering the data, it probably would have been a little more frustrating as fewer people participated or whatever. And it could have gotten to the point of some frustration and some stagnation, but instead you took the time to gather this information. And here, this is the key thing about the life cycle model. The life cycle model, when you ask those questions about who are we, who is our neighbor, what are we, how are we called to be in relationship, how are we called to serve people? And that can be within your congregation, or it can be the neighborhood around your church, or it can be the whole diocese. I mean, it's however you define it. The key thing about those formative questions is being willing to hear different answers. So you had one set of answers that you had in your head that might have been what people said 2 years ago. And the church is a different place than it was 2 years ago. You guys have grown. You need people who need to know where the pots and pans are in the kitchen, or that, like everybody should bring their jalapeno poppers for a cookout or something. I mean, it's great.
And the other thing that was really a kind of a monkey wrench in this particular topic was COVID, right? Because
absolutely,
things were on a trajectory up to the shutdown, and so this is kind of like things are thawing out now, and it's like, well, do we pick up where we left off? Are things different?
Yep.
And so the data gathering was a huge kind of a reset to be able to tell the leaders of the parish that, hey, this is kind of where we are, regardless of where you go, right? So it was very, very beneficial.
I'm so glad. So the number one thing that I've heard from churches around our diocese and in the wider church is the difference that people have expressed to me about ministry on the other side of after returning from the shutdown is those ongoing kind of food or social ministries that people participated in, the parish life committee, whatever it is. People are not willing to do those the same way anymore. Whatever it was that was maybe mostly working in 2019, expecting those same volunteers to come back in the same capacity is just not happening. And so you guys asking those questions was exactly what as you're reflecting, was exactly what your church needed to do. So thank you.
Yeah.
So I want to do a little teaching now of my favorite model. And in order to do that, I would like to ask Kelly to share. Kelly is helping in a multitude of ways. But I asked her if she could make a pretty PowerPoint of the Gleicher-Dannemiller change model. This is in your manual, so you can find it if you look up in the table of contents. I don't have the page number in front of me, but it is available. You will find it in your manual, and if you can't find it, email either Kelly or me, and we'll help you with page numbers. The Gleicher-Dannemiller change model process is a way of building change that helps you think through the specific aspects of what it takes in order to help your church or yourself or whatever group that you're talking about to go through the process of change. So I'm going to walk through what each of these letters stands for. C stands for change. All right. Oh, Kelly, you're moving things. Very exciting. Change equals dissatisfaction times vision times tangible first steps. And all of that together has to be greater than resistance to that change. Did you see what she did there? So underneath the tiles was the thing. Thank you, Kelly. That's so pretty. So change, in order to affect change, there has to be a level of dissatisfaction with the way things are right now, a vision for how they might be in the future, some tangible first steps toward that change. And all of that together needs to be greater than the resistance to change. So I want to tell you a little bit about how I have experienced this model. I am somebody who my preference in Myers-Briggs is ENFJ. I am a harmonizer by nature. I want to look for all the ways that we have common ground and build on that together. That's my inclination. And so the first time I encountered this model, it made me very uncomfortable because the trainer I was working with said, sometimes you need to raise the level of dissatisfaction in order for change to happen. Because if you think about it, if people are too comfortable, they have no reason to change. Change always brings a pain point. And so if dissatisfaction, if any one of those three pieces in the equation is 0, then you're not going to have change. So dissatisfaction has to be higher than people's comfort level with whatever, even if they're mad about something. Then you have to raise their dissatisfaction in order to spur change. If you have dissatisfaction, but you don't have a vision for what's possible, then it won't happen. And even with dissatisfaction and even with this beautiful vision of what might be, if you don't have tangible first steps, again, it can't happen. And all of those things together, dissatisfaction, vision for the future, and for tangible first steps toward that goal, those have to be greater than resistance to change. Again, there's always a pain point in change. We still need to do it. It's still part of our life in the church and in ministry and life in general. And as humans, as church, there is always a natural tendency toward resistance of that change. Okay, does that make sense? All right, Kelly, can you did everybody get a chance, if you wanted to write that down, did you get a chance to write down the equation? Okay, I would love to see your faces. So Kelly, can you take us off of screen share so that I can see you? Thank you, thank you. So what I'll say about how I've used this is exactly the model that we used in establishing the college. So I have this visual aid here still. So when at the time that I came in, my job description included launching the College for Congregational Development. It was a very big ask to ask people to spend a lot of money and spend a lot of time to come away to Waycross for a week and bring a team of people to learn together. It was not something that we had done in this diocese in this way. It was not convenient. And there was no other, we didn't have something that in the same way could help churches to the degree that the college can. And so the change that I was seeking to do was to launch the college. And in order to do that, we had to show that we didn't have another way of doing the kind of work together that the college made possible for us to do. Alan, I'm seeing you nodding your head. Can you speak to that at all?
Yes, that prior to Canon coming, I've been serving here in this diocese for 19 years now. And it seemed like every year the diocese was rolling out some new thing that was, okay, if you do this new thing, this is going to help save your church. And it just it got to the point where you didn't want to do anything because there were just so many things.
Yeah.
You just had you're juggling too many balls.
Right.
And
right.
so the college put it all together into one thing that the diocese said, okay, we're finally committed to this. This is it. Get on board, with it.
Yep.
And I
Thank you,
appreciated
Alan.
that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So the dissatisfaction was, however many years we'd had, and this happens in a lot of dioceses, of shiny object syndrome, of like, oh, here's the next great thing that's going to save the church. What I will tell you about the college is that it's hard work. Ministry is hard work, and our sustained attention toward doing the work that God is giving us to do doesn't make it easy. But it's not the job of a program to save the church, because that's Jesus's job, and it's our job to recognize the salvation that Jesus has given us, and to build up the body of Christ as effectively as we can. And so the dissatisfaction is the many programs that had happened didn't do the work, didn't equip us in the way as leaders in the church in this diocese that we needed in order to build up the body of Christ that is the church that we love. And Dale, I'm thinking particularly about your experience at St. Mary's. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, and hard and scary to do this, to do the work of transformation that you have helped begin. So vision is that if we do this hard thing together, there's a real possibility it will be hard in the learning, and important to bring back and share. And as we do that, the church can move forward differently, is the vision. The tangible first steps for us in this diocese were, oh, by the way, I came in October of 2018. We did a whole bunch of preparatory work in 2019, and then the pandemic hit, which meant that we did not launch an in-person 6-day training in July of 2020. But what we did do for those tangible first steps was that we were able to have an online 2-day training that I really think that was free for anybody who wanted to participate. We did small groups. It wasn't the full thing. It wasn't as great as it could have been, but it was what we could do in the midst of shutdown. And I think it helped lower the threshold so that people could see, to go from maybe we'll get together on a Saturday at Waycross for a workshop or a training somewhere, to I want everybody to put together a team of people and come do a training at Waycross in person for 6 days. Like, that's a pretty significant ask. So those tangible first steps of being able to do a try it out online for 2 days at no cost when everybody was at home anyway, gave us some doable initial steps that I believe helped us to, and then once people did it, first with the 2-day training, and then once we launched in 2021, people had the chance to experience it and be able to bring that learning back to their churches and do the work, bless you, Ed, to be able to overcome the resistance that might have said, this is a terrible idea, we're going to wait until next year's new bright shiny thing comes. So that's a practical way that I've used the college in this diocese, that I've used this model regarding the college here. Any questions about that? Does that make sense? Can you think about ways? I mean, what I will say is the scariest thing about that model for me, and the thing that maybe draws me to it significantly, is that discomfort with raising dissatisfaction. because without that, change can't happen. And so that's the lesson I keep learning over and over again. I could harmonize all day long and we'd still be sitting, like not doing this thing. So, yeah.
I had somebody who came into my office for counseling about a month ago, and they were struggling with a bad habit that was holding them back. And so I went through this change model with them, and we talked about, okay, where's the dissatisfaction? What's the vision you want to see of something different? And then we talked about, baby steps. What's the first steps to get there? And, we talked about what might be the resistance to that change. I don't know if it's been successful for that person yet, but I've used it several times just on one-on-one pastoral
Wonderful.
care.
Wonderful. Thank you. And thanks for raising that point, Alan, that as you're thinking about projects, whether you're still in process and looking toward year 2 or you've graduated and you're looking for ways to use your learning from the college, you can have projects in any variety. I have done projects by myself where the intervention was I wanted to do more praying with the daily office. And so I had a project that was about creating a streamlined form of morning prayer that was easy first for me to use and then for my congregation to use. So you can do an individual project. You can do a project that's a leadership group or some kind of group that you're a part of within your church, within your family, within your wider church. I mean, it's useful and practical content, however you choose to apply it. And I look forward to hearing what that's like for you. So. Any other questions? We got a couple minutes remaining, particularly those we haven't heard from yet. Does anybody have thoughts, questions, ideas, burning questions that you haven't asked yet? Don.
Are we going to have to go to Cincinnati for the class July?
We will have a college here. That's a really helpful question. No, the college will take place as planned. I will not be your director, and I will miss that very much.
We'll miss you.
This has been one of the weeks I cherished my time with you and the chance to talk about these things together. I will miss you all so much. What practically I'm working right now, and I'll be in conversation with the director of the college of the overall program, Alyssa Newton and Melissa Skelton are both in the Diocese of Olympia, and I'll be in conversation with them over the coming days. Bishop Jennifer is preparing to post my position to search for the person who will serve in this role. And it may be if that person is qualified and ready to lead as a director, then that person may step in and do that with Kelly's amazing assistance. And Kelly, you all should know, Kelly is the gold standard. Like the rest of the college around the church, like, well, what would Kelly do about that? Like Kelly is the one that has mapped things out. Yes, thank you, Kelly. To make things work well, and the other colleges have taken note. So you have a great gift in Kelly, and she's going to stay right here. So there will either be a new person in the role I'm currently in who serves as the leader, or the college will send in. They've trained some directors who are particularly focused on launching new colleges. And so if this position isn't hired, or if that person isn't yet a director ready to lead as a director, then the college we have other qualified folks who could come in to lead. So. Any other questions? So if before we go, just know my hope for this group is that you all will help to be the leaders. And so if you have an idea for a model that you'd like to share, and what I would say is if there's a model that you love that you've used and you'd like to teach about it and share how you've used it in your place, please email Kelly with that information. She's gonna work to help organize these calls going forward. If you want to share a project that you've done, like Dale did earlier, and Don, like you talked through with yours, those are things, it's my deep hope. It would be a great gift to me to know that you are continuing as a community of practice here. And this is the first step in that process. So please look to Kelly with questions. I'm going to be wrapping up my work at the end of this month here. And I'll be with you the first day of Diocesan Convention. And then Southern Ohio's convention is the same day as our convention. So I will be with you all on Friday of convention, and then I will be in Portsmouth, Ohio on the Saturday of convention. So know that I carry you with me, and you all have helped prepare me for this work, and I'll miss you. I'll miss you so much. So thanks, everybody.
We're gonna miss you too. Yay.
Thanks. Let's pray. Let's pray before we say goodbye. The Lord be with you.
And also with you.
O Lord, support us all the day long until the shadows lengthen and the evening comes and the busy world is hushed and the fever of life is over and our work is done. Then in your mercy, grant us a safe lodging and a holy rest and peace at the last. God bless you all. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Amen.
Thanks,
Hey, Kelly.
Jim. Take care. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.